Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Saturday, guys. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody's doing well. And I pray everyone is staying warm and staying dry and making sure the family is okay in this weather that we are getting ready to receive. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. Today is no different than any other day. Last night we did what we did. We discussed Jarvis Butts taking that plea deal, or refusing the plea deal, should I say, excuse me. He refused it. We know that refusing that deal, Jarvis is saying something without saying something. And what Jarvis is saying is, hey, I'm walking down this road by myself. That's what he's saying. Y'all saw the thumbnail and y'all saw the title. Jarvis is saying to Shannon, Annette, and Markita, let's sit together. Annette, Shannon, Markita. We're family, right? Let's sit together. We're family. Then he look at him and says, don't get nervous now. Don't get nervous now, because you remember, Annette, when you almost broke your foot? You told me we're a family, and I'm in a position right now. I'm standing on that. We're a family. So we all go down. So when I titled this live stream, let's sit together, I meant that. Because if we're family, then family don't get to disappear when the truth gets uncomfortable. It just don't. Tonight we're going to talk about Annette, Shannon, Markita, and everybody who knew something and chose silence instead of protection. Because when a child is reported as a runaway, and 2 years and some change go by, and y'all still ain't put no pressure into searching, into getting answers, that's not confusion. That's behavior. Because y'all have done it time and time again. Y'all got children, had children in that house that spoke up and said what was happening to them. And y'all told them to shut up. Y'all knew Jarvis had a history. Y'all allowed access anyway. Jarvis is the only one that got the finger pointed at him. Jarvis is the only one that was nailed to the cross. But Jarvis was not the only PDF that ran through that house. Then we got the church. When they start backing away after the spotlight shows up, y'all got to know that's not a coincidence. So tonight, we're here to talk about it. If we family, why hide now? And if everybody was so sure that this was nothing, if everybody is so sure about their innocence, why does the silence feel so heavy? Why? So this is what we're going to do. For those of you that are here, if you have not yet hit that like button, please hit the like button for your girl. Share out the live if you can. Grab a membership. Join the Nola Bell family. You look green. You look good in green over here. The emojis to the right, please do your girl a favor and tap, tap, tap. Let YouTube alert others that we are live. And before I step out for a minute and let you all get yourselves comfortable, grab your drinks and grab your snacks and do all that you have to do, I want to see who's really in here tonight. If you're here tonight to walk through this with Mocha, speaking truth over comfort, because we don't want to make these, we don't want to make them comfortable. Drop some eyes in the chat. Drop some eyes in the chat because we want to see this through. This family. I see the eyes. Hey, Kenyetta Marie, thank you, boo. I see the eyes. I see the eyes. I see the eyes. Give me a second, guys. Get yourself relaxed. Get yourself comfortable. Whatever little last minute thing you need to do, you do that. We'll be back in 1 minute and we're going to get into this thing.
Welcome to Mocha, no love bills. Hit that like button, you might break the scale. If you can't join the membership, still ride for free, $99. Yeah, we lit in here. Comments popping, energy rocking, we all shine. We have a stay. We have a stay. Turn it up, we in the South with style and grace. Mocha got 'em talking, can't nobody take a place. Now, from the bayou to the block, we drop truth, not tea. You ain't gotta pay the vibe, hit that like for free. Every panel on fire, every topic gon' trend. If you ain't a member yet, you still a friend, amen. Got love for the real, was no time for the mess. We keep it authentic, that's no labels at its best. Welcome to Mocha, no love bills. Where the truth ring loud like church bells. Like, comment, subscribe, ring 99 if you ride. We don't fake the vibe, we gon' live, we outside. Welcome to Mocha, no love bills. Where the truth ring loud like church bells. Like, comment, subscribe, ring 99 if you ride. We don't fake the vibe, we gon' live, we outside. It's Mocha and the crew, we the talk of the streets. Bring the real back to YouTube, no scripts, no beats. We laugh, we drag, we educate too. All the bells in the chat know how we do. So tap in, lean back, sip your drink real slow. Let the haters keep watching, we steal the show. From Mocha to Nola, we hold it down steady. Platinum plus approved, that girl stay ready. Welcome to Mocha, na-na bells. Welcome to Mocha, na-na bells. Welcome to Mocha, no love bells. Where the truth ring loud like church bells. Like, comment, subscribe, free 99 if you ride. We don't fake the vibe, we go live, we outside. Welcome to Mocha, no love bells. Where the truth ring loud like church bells. Like, comment, subscribe, free 99 if you ride. We don't fake the vibe, we go live, we outside. From the panel to the people, it's pure real talk. She ain't following a trend, she lead her own walk. No cameras, my mic check with no lights on blast. But every episode hit like first class. We ain't gossiping, we testifying, keep it bold. Every story got a lesson that need to be told. So hit that bell, join the ride in style. Welcome to Mocha, stick around for a while. Welcome to Mocha, no love bells. Where the bells ring, truth in the chat stay lit. Like, comment, subscribe, don't quit. If you can't join the membership, free $99. Still with it. Still with it. We outside. We outside.
All right, guys. All right. We are back in this thing. I see y'all coming in. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Happy Saturday, guys. Happy Saturday and welcome to anyone that's new and finding their way here for the first time. Welcome. And once again, if you have not yet hit that like button, I would appreciate if you do so for your girl. We're going to get off into this commentary. Moderators, I thank you as always for holding the room down. I appreciate you. Let me read this disclaimer and we're going to get moving. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use. For purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, let me just reassure those that's in the bushes that don't want to drop down. Over here, we talk about real life situations. We talk about accountability and the things people try to sweep under the rug. This is a space where we speak for the silenced. We center the voices of children, and we choose purpose over popularity every single time. I don't rush conversations over here. I don't water things down to fit somebody else's narrative. And I don't tell you what to think. But together we walk through the facts and let the truth speak for itself. This is what we do here. So if that's your kind of space, welcome home. You're in the right room. This is who we are. This is what we do. Now that we've set the tone and everybody understands why we're here, this is where we slow it down. Because when Jarvis Butts refused that plea deal, that's when the conversation stopped being about him. It shifted the light. And the first place that light had to land is on the people closest to Nasiah. Whether we want to believe it or not. The ones who were supposed to protect her, guide her, and speak up for her. So let's talk about Annette. But before I talk about Annette, before I get to Annette, welcome everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Before I get to Annette, let me ask you all this. And I want you to be real with me on this one because I need a little clarity. How many times can a child, any child, be reported as a runaway before it stops sounding believable? How many times can one household keep reporting children as a runaway and it starts sounding believable? If that part don't sit right with you, if that part don't sit right with you, drop me some eyes in the chat because I don't understand how a person can make multiple reports of a child or children and label them as runaways. And there's no red flags behind that. So who's really the problem, Annette or the system? Who's really the problem? I see the eyes in the chat. I see them, and I thank you all so very much. So at this point, who becomes the problem? Annette felt like she got away with it once. It became easy. It became easy. There's a lot of questions concerning this family. A lot of questions. And we have to ask them. We have to ask these questions because I want to know, in a normal household, the way you were brought up, the way you were raised, the way I was raised, normal folks, that's what I'm going to call us. We're some normal folks. If a child tells you, tell me, tell us that they've been violated as an adult, please help Mocha understand what's your responsibility as the adult. Do you protect that child or you stay quiet? Because clearly, these children's words matter none to these people because they allowed it over and over and over again and forced these children to remain quiet. How do you force children that's been violated to stay quiet? Welcome each and every one of you that's joining the chat. Happy Saturday, my loves. To be honest, those children were failed from the jump. I see y'all in the chat. I see y'all. They failed to protect. Now, before we could say anything, we have to be honest with ourselves and talk about the roles that they played with these children. Annette wasn't just the matriarch, as they called her, who popped in when it was convenient. She wasn't just somebody sitting in the background. This mole face, matted wig wearing heifer, she had guardianship over Naziah, over Vari. This raggedy wig wearing heifer had authority. She was supposed to be the decision maker, but she made all the wrong decisions. She was responsible for protecting these children, for giving them proper supervision. She failed. And that mattered. More than a little bit, that mattered, because when something goes wrong in a child's life, there's no way on God's green earth we're supposed to start looking at strangers first. When something goes wrong in a child's life, we start with the person who had the most control. And Annette had the most control. She controlled the narrative when she decided to go to that courthouse and get paperwork in order to assure that money followed. And we know that Naziah wasn't the only child, wasn't the first child connected to Annette that was labeled as a runaway. And that's where people start getting uncomfortable, at least that family does. When you talk about it, they get very uncomfortable, but I don't give a damn how uncomfortable they get because patterns don't change. And patterns don't care about feelings. One child being reported as a runaway, some people may say, oh shit, they just had bad luck. That child, I don't know. Now that's for one child. Two, people might start scratching their damn head like, oh Lord, that's a coincidence. But when multiple children under the same damn roof, under the same adult supervision is reported as runaways and they never resurface, baby, the word runaway stop being runaway. And this shit start becoming suspect. And everybody, their mama, their grandmother, the neighbors, everybody should have questions. Everybody. And if that's not bad enough, after Naziah disappeared, just look at their behaviors. Look at their behaviors after Naziah's disappearance. Then it became silence. We saw nothing. All we saw was silence. And silence when you're the grandmother. Silence when you're the guardian. Silence when you're the matriarch. Because I don't know what makes them fucking feel that they could throw that word matriarch around so loosely like that fits Annette. Y'all are some sick ass people. She didn't move like a grandmother that cared. What we saw after the disappearance, we saw movement though. Moving out the house catching fire, changing vehicles days after Naziah's disappearance, getting mad when the police decide to question Vari, being selective as to who y'all telling first that Naziah is no longer there instead of contacting the police. That's strange to me. That's strange. Because grief. If you were grieving, grief don't look like logistics. And if you were really concerned about where Naziah was or what may have possibly happened to Naziah, if you really didn't know, y'all were moving like y'all were panicking. Panic don't look like relocation. So why I keep moving? Innocent people tend to cling to the last place they saw their child. They don't detach from it. They moved, they ran, they tried to cover lots of tracks. And when children started speaking, I'm going to get there in a second. Let me grab a few comments before I get too deep. Tony says, Smoke, I was missing last night because I was at my family funeral viewing, but I caught the replay. Oh, condolences to you, Tony. Condolences, baby. Welcome everybody to the chat. Happy Saturday, my loves. Happy Saturday. And I hope you all are staying warm. Sharon Wally says, I don't trust none of them. Sharon, I don't either. I don't either. Absolutely, y'all. One child running away is enough. You got multiple children running away. That's a problem. Annette in the system is the problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kamisha, I see you, boo. Kamisha said, because my question has always been, why nobody checked that freezer? You know, Kamisha, that's a question. And you know, Kamisha, another question is, Why is it that that house never been checked? And we know it has not been checked, right? Because their phones have never been confiscated. Never. Tony said we blame Kim Worthless for giving her custody of those children. Absolutely. She's going to go down with them too. She's going to go down with them too. Diva Silk, I see you, my love. Welcome. They act like they don't know that you're supposed to protect children. Chucky says Annette wanted those checks. Drag racing, absolutely, we would have been investigated, absolutely. But it's something about Annette. Patrima said, yep, ACS failed them. And no one else reported the abuse. Why? Why nobody else reported the abuse? That, that should make you look at them all sideways. Evelyn Gentry said they should have been locked up day one. Absolutely. Aggie says they all played the wrong role. This is sad. Carla Henry said that was the worst mistake ever. Giving Annette those children. Absolutely. PJ, my girl, I see you, boo. Happy Saturday. Dorothy Ann says, I know the system works different in different states. Some states care and do their job, and some just don't give a damn. Dorothy Ann, I'm with you. But Dorothy Ann, this is the worst form of corruption I've ever seen. The worst form of corruption I've ever seen. And the children had to pay the price. Renee said it makes no doggone sense. Absolutely. But Renee, she could go search for a dog, though. Children don't want to be there. The damn dog don't want to be there. That dog didn't run away just because. Even a dog got sense. Carla Henry says Annette don't even get the title as being called a grandmother. Hell no, she don't. No, she don't. Kim says they know exactly what happened. Absolutely. Sister Rock, I see you, boo. Chucky says Detroit did a terrible job in this case. No cap, Chucky. Kitty said the system is trash, and so are these people. You better know it. Chucky, Nazaria said it was a hellhole living there. She said it. She said it. Kitty said animals can sense energy a little more than we can, even that part. Absolutely. So look, when those children in that house, spoke up, not one child, not two children, multiple children spoke up. And according to the court transcripts, their words were not met with protection. Shannon Markita, Annette, they ordered these children to be quiet. Shannon had no sense of love for her own children. Markita didn't give a damn about hers. And Annette had been showing them for years that she didn't give a damn about hers. Annette, you raggedy wig wearing bitch, listen. I know you don't understand, bitch, because you don't know no better. But you do know better at your good old ripe ass age. You know what it feels like to be violated. You know what it feels like to be misused. You know what it feels like to have your youth stripped from you. So when your grandchildren, when they all came to you and said they were violated, Shannon, you flathead bitch. When yours came to you and said She was violated. Markita, you wide mouth chalk eating, yours came to you and said she was violated. Y'all made these children be quiet. Y'all rather manage inconvenience. Y'all didn't want to be inconvenienced with the what ifs and the possibilities because y'all knew what the outcome would be. Y'all knew what would happen if it got outside of y'all house, that's what was going on. But y'all had a nasty family image to protect. Y'all job wasn't to protect these children. Y'all job was to keep the family image, that nasty image. Y'all didn't want to keep peace. Y'all wanted to keep protection. Y'all wanted to protect the monsters. I think more so y'all was trying to protect yourselves. Jarvis Butts. Yes, he did what he did in the worst possible way. But y'all told those children to be quiet. Because once they'd have got with these folks and these folks would have questioned them, not only would they have said Jarvis touched him, but I think the fear kicked in with y'all because once they would have questioned those children about Jarvis, they would have questioned those innocent children about other adults touching them. And I think y'all fear allegedly could have been y'all didn't want y'all name to come up, saying that y'all were the one touching them as well. Y'all had one job to do, y'all nasty hoes, and that was to stop everything and protect these children. But y'all didn't do that. Y'all didn't do that. Sugarcoating this shit does more damage than good. See, when you got a guardianship, that's power. And power without protection is dangerous. Because, bitch, I don't need you to be a guardian over me when you can't protect me. Naziah had more sense than all of y'all. Janiyah had more sense than all of y'all. If y'all to let these little girls be little girls, they probably could have taught y'all a thing or two. When you're the adult in charge and children keep being harmed, silenced, or disappearing around you, that don't make you unlucky, bitch. That makes you the focal point. Annette never took accountability. Shannon never took accountability, nor Markita. They chose to stay quiet. 2 years is a long goddamn time to say nothing. 2 years is a long time to not demand answers, and they didn't give a damn. 2 years is a long time to let the word run away, do all the work. That's what they labeled it as, a runaway. Put that title on that baby and left it there. Welcome everyone that's coming into the chat. Happy Saturday, guys. And what troubles me the most in all of this, that silence protects these grown ass people, or so they think. Had they made noise, it would have protected those children, and they chose not to. These nasty adults in that household, they were protected far more than the children could have ever been. I had somebody in the chat ask me the other night, why was I questioning Annette's role as a grandmother? And my answer today is the same as it was the other night. Because that bitch ain't a grandmother. She don't get a pass. Because silence is something that she decided to do. And because Naziah deserved someone who would have been loud enough to shake the grounds, turn Detroit upside down. She didn't do that. And if that makes anybody uncomfortable, me saying the things that I'm saying, well, guess what? Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Because clearly, if you're uncomfortable, you're another Annette. And you need to check yourself and see if you're treating your grandchildren the right way. Sharon Wally says the family members sat back. She says the family members sat back and participated, watched for 40 years. And that's a damn shame, Sharon. Look at how long this has been going on. Look at how long this has been going on in that family. That bloodline is tainted. But to them, Sharon, that's normal. That's normal. But when people like you and I speak on such things, we're the problem. We're troublemakers. We're lying. But when you look at what has been unfolded in these YouTube streets the last couple of days, that family got problems. A lot of liars. They cover up shit. They create shit. They just falsify shit. That is a sick family. What does that tell you? What does that tell you, chat? That family stayed silent for 2 years. 2 years. What does that say about how they really feel about Naziah? I'll wait. Sabrina says, why do they only show old pictures of Naziah? I'm going to tell you why, Sabrina. They only show old pictures of Naziah because Naziah was not a priority. You got to call it for what it is. We got to call it for what we've seen and what's been showed. Naziah was a meal in that family. She was a meal ticket. Naziah, poor baby. They used her for all their dirty deeds. And Annette is going to pay for it. Shannon is going to pay for it. Markita is going to pay for it. And lady, you got to pay for it. A child. You know, we look at these third world countries. And we have a lot to say when we see that they have these young children working in different industries. They have these little children working in these warehouses making products. You got these little children working as ex-slaves. We talk about that. We talk about how inhumane that is. We talk about the other countries, but we need to shut up. We need to shut the hell up. Stop talking about these other countries because it's happening right here in our very own neighborhoods. They knew what Annette was doing to these children. They knew how Annette had these children being grown before they knew how to tie their shoes. But yet you got the Kawanas of the world that comes out here and label her as the matriarch. That's sick. And you know what's this more disgusting about it? She's been the only one out of all the family members that had something to say in regards to that family. Why is it that Bucket is the only one that recognizes Annette as the matriarch? That's very telling. That is very, very telling. Because if I know my auntie is doing foul shit like that, I could never sit so proud and called her a matriarch. So who's going to pick up the reign after the matriarch disappears? You're bragging on that damn title like a legacy is being left. Like she did good deeds all her life. Like she's leaving something behind to be proud of. Y'all are slow. Slow, slow. Slow, slow. See, I went off on the deep end and I was just supposed to be answering a question about why they only show old pictures of Naziah. That's because they never poured into Naziah. They never poured into Naziah. Kamisha says, so basically, the state, if much, just go keep giving Grandzilla kids to keep coming up missing, and that's supposed to be okay? Kamisha, evidently, because every child she gets came up missing. I don't understand that. But nobody in that family says a damn thing about it. And that's very telling. Very telling. My girl Gloria says the system failed those children on all levels. They failed them first by giving them to her. Wanda's, I see you, boo. Marty says, I see the vermin. Then crawl back under the rocks, clout chasing ass. They didn't give a rat's ass about Naziah, nor her safety or welfare, just to check. I hear you, Marty. Chucky says that news clip of Annette crying when she went missing, I knew something was up, Chucky. Chucky, did you see her expression? Not only her expressions, Chucky, but did you hear the words that came out of her mouth in that moment? Because I can't unsee it, nor can I unhear it. Chucky, first of all, Mark D broke it down, and Mark D says, Annette only did the press conference. Let me show you what type of woman Annette is. Annette did that press conference because they threatened to lock her ass up in jail had she not done a press conference for Naziah. They was going to charge her with the disappearance of Naziah. So that press conference was not real. It was forced. because she didn't want to take that matted ass wig to jail. Annette did that press conference and she said, y'all don't know what's going on. First question when she said that, the question in my mind is, bitch, who is y'all? Who are you talking to? Y'all don't know what's going on. That's what you said, Annette. Then you went up and you followed up and said, y'all don't know why y'all took her. What? Who is y'all? Because now I want to know, because it sounds like you're speaking directly to someone and you know exactly who you're speaking to. Then you turn around and you said, Naziah could be in danger. Just bring her home. Well, Annette, you sounded so sure. You sounded so sure as to who you was giving that message to. I don't trust you, ma'am. I don't trust the secrets that y'all keeping. I don't trust the stories y'all have come out here and told. Because y'all been lying from day one, starting with the time y'all claimed Naziah went missing. So guys, you have to look at, maybe there is some truth to what the evangelist said when he mentioned them $7,000. And I'm going to stand on that. Rock said, Shannon, you skillet head holding out a skillet. Sabrina said, so where are Shannon friends at? Nobody's speaking. They must know. Nick, I don't see how anybody could be friends with anybody in that family. And I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. Cornell, I see you, boo. Sabrina says people on the net's blog new stuff. That's why Naziah said people be looking. Well, Sabrina, let me tell you about the people on the block. I doubt if the people on the block knew anything. And the reason I say I doubt if people on the block knew anything, because when they did the balloon release for Naziah and the family created all that confusion, the people on the block didn't even know Naziah was missing. So how can you have neighbors? See, that's where the lies come into play. People in that neighborhood had no idea Naziah was missing. And what was the time frame? When did they do that balloon release? Was it, what, a year later, y'all? Was it a year later on Naziah's birthday that they did that balloon release? See, so now that I don't buy the lies that they tell about they went put up flyers. I don't buy the lies that they tell about they walked up and down the street searching, knocking on doors. Not if the neighbors didn't know she was missing. So now the lies that they tell, they're all coming to the forefront. Because 5% did say he and his wife and his son were putting up flyers. Shannon lied and said they put up flyers. Roxy said they put up flyers. And Shannon, Markita, and Dre were tearing them down. I believe that. I believe that just by the way they're moving. And it makes sense that Roxy said that they were tearing the flyers down. Because if the flyers remained, the neighbors would have known that Naziah was missing. Absolutely, Dorothy, and everything is coming out about that family. Every damn thing. Tony says, how can you carry a child for 9 months and then let another touch your child? Absolutely. Dorothy Ann said they should have spoke up in the beginning. And maybe all of the backlash would still be hiding. Dorothy Ann, that part. Dorothy Ann, I'm with you. If these people would have been open and honest from the very beginning and knew how to be civil, you see all that dirty shit that's coming out right now? It would have stayed in the wash. It would have never came out. Tony says, I told y'all Jarvis wasn't over there drawing stick figures. He was taking notes. Absolutely. Absolutely. This shit was normal to them. Samantha says every child has been touched in that family. Isn't that horrible, Samantha? That is horrible. Kitty said, I'm okay with being a troublemaker if it means ruffling the feathers of the devil. Absolutely. Now I'll dance with the devil all day long, baby. I have no problems. Cornell said that family is sick as fuck, and they are. Renee said the fact that Detroit courts won't make Jarvis take that mask off in 2026 is insane. The system is corrupt. Renee, pay attention, boo. That's strategy working. That's strategy. Rashida says, how can a person care about someone else when they don't care about themselves? That part. Chucky say Roxanne saved her either. I don't give a fuck. I hear you, Chucky. Chucky, they all gotta own their part. Because Chucky, let me tell you, there's no way I would know all that I knew, and I was in arm reach of Shannon in that kitchen. Huh? And Shannon wouldn't have been eating suds. Shannon would have been a Thanksgiving turkey or a Christmas ham in that oven. I promise you, she would have been, because the rage in me would have not been contained. Huh. Kitty said, how can they look at that sweet girl and commit such evil? Because they all evil and they're going to pay for it. April says, didn't one of the family members say they knew she would be next? April, and it wasn't a slip up. April, it was not a slip up. And when I challenged her when she said it, April, well, no, that's not what I was meaning. She said, that's not what I meant. You know, I just said, nah, that's not what you said. She said, I meant Naziah was going to be the next one to run away. That's not what you meant. You said what you said and you stood on it. But you didn't think you would be questioned about it. These people don't do nothing but damn lie. And then all the children have to hurt because of their lies. Tony says Naziah is breaking that nasty family curse. Justice for Naziah and her cousins. Absolutely. Lady D said them demons did not care about those babies at all. No, they did not. Samantha says, I don't think Lady belongs to that family. And whatever jealousy Annette had for Lady, she took it out on Naziah. Vari is her stepson. He didn't get it bad as Naziah. Isn't that some shit? Who understood what Samantha just said? If you don't understand I got it on the screen. If you don't understand what Samantha just said, just type in the chat me, and I'm going to break it down for you. I'm so glad over here we speak facts and truth, and we break shit down. That's what she said, Samantha. Naziah was going to be next. Samantha says, I don't think Lady belongs to that family. We get that. And whatever jealousy Annette had for Lady, she took it out on Naziah. We get that. This is the part I want y'all to ponder on. Vari is Annette's stepson. He didn't get it as bad as Naziah. And it's some shit. Annette is filthy. Annette has a price to pay. Poor Vari did that interview. They asked Vari who was his father. That young man says, I don't know. They told me my daddy was deceased. And they left that child with that. See, that's how that family maneuvers with the lies and the secrets and the filth. They left Vari with your father is deceased. But let's talk about Vari's father. Annette's husband, Charles, violated Vari and Naziah's mother since she was a young girl. Same shit that happened to Naziah, giving Naziah as a baby to a grown-ass man. That's what Annette did to Naziah's mother. Gave Naziah's mother to her husband. Lady ran away. According to what was revealed on Mark D's podcast, Lady was found at 12 years old in a crack house, pregnant. She ran away from Annette's home because she was tired. She was tired of Annette giving Charles to her. Annette has a filthy pattern and a dark, deep, nasty history. Marty says they're getting stressed. They're at a nerve-breaking point. Welcome everyone to the chat. Let me try to catch up with these comments so I can move on with the commentary. Absolutely, Kenyatta. Naziah was the sacrificial lamb. Jerry says, welcome to the chat, Jerry. Jerry says, Lady tried her best. It wasn't her fault. Losing her baby. She was taking care of her baby. Something happened. That's how her mother got her baby. She spoiled her kids. Lady was dealing with abuse for real. That's what I heard. Hey, terrific. I heard the demon had got to Lady. Drugs. She was in a relationship with a woman. She was dealing with 5%. She had a lot going on. But Lady could have gotten her children back. Look, I'm not going to make no excuses for the bitch. Listen, I want y'all to understand that. I'm not going to make excuses for her. Because according to family members, Lady could have gotten her children back. Lady They told Lady to clean up her act and take classes, parenting classes. And they gave her a time frame and a window to do so, and she chose not to. Thank you, sister. Kenyatta Marie said most people speak of their missing loved ones. We don't know who Annette was talking to. Absolutely. She knew though. She knew exactly who she was speaking to. But what Jerry said, I heard that too. I heard that she was a good mother when she had those children. I heard she was a good mother when she had her children. Something happened and it just changed the game. Jerry says some people can put abuse behind them. Lady couldn't. She would cry a lot. I was her neighbor and didn't see it. I spoke to her abuser every day. What, Jerry? Jerry, where you at? Jerry. Jerry, if you in here, let me know you still in the chat. Lady D says, my thing is this. Lady had 40 years of CPS. Please tell me, how did she get anybody's kids? Oh, you're talking about Annette. Oh, she got them through Kenworthy. Where's Jerry? Jerry, I understand a lot of people can't just quit drugs. Jerry, I get that. I get it. But Jerry, what do you know? Who was Lady's abuser? April Webster, thank you, baby. Thank you for supporting the channel, Mom. Because I want to know who was her abuser. Denise, welcome, welcome. She said, yes, hello. I just started listening to you. So true. Very interesting. A topic not to never overlook. Absolutely. And welcome to the channel, my love. Welcome. Over here, we make it make sense. We make it make sense. Even if we got to break it down brick by brick, we make it make sense. Sabrina said those kids in that neighborhood know something. I'm sure some went to her school. But listen, Sabrina, Nazaya's father said, as they were passing the flyers around, they spoke to the children in the neighborhood, Sabrina. They asked the children, 5% said they asked the children, when was the last time they saw Nazaya? Those children said, now I want y'all to do the math one more time because we cover this quite often. 5% said those children said it had been 3 weeks that they had seen Nazaya. So this is what I want you to do. If 5% said it had been 3 weeks since they had seen Nazaya last. So you take the January 9th or the 10th. 10th was the day Annette went reported. They said the 9th is the day she supposedly ran away. Now you add 3 weeks to that. That's a whole damn month. Then you add the other 30 days that it said at that school before DPD got it. That's another month. That's 2 months before anybody started looking for Nazaya. That family ain't shit. Tony says, I heard one of the cashiers at the gas station ask a customer, did they know that this was the last place Nazaya was supposedly seen at? Jerry said, lady told me years later. Turns out her horror stories were true. Wow. Jerry, let me ask you a question. Now, Keisha, I see you, boo. Jerry, let me ask you a question, baby. Do you see Lady today? Have you seen Lady? Or maybe I should redirect that question. Have you seen Lady? Kim, thank you so much for gifting a membership. But look, terrific. Got a instant girl before you could have renewed your stuff. Look what you got. Thank you, Kim. And that's what I want to know, Jerry. Have you seen Lady since all of this has taken place? I'm curious. I'm curious. Absolutely, Rock. Nothing but jealousy. And that's what she said. Nazaria was going to be next. Let me get down in these comments. I ain't trying to ignore y'all. Patrima said she was supposed to stop the curses in that family, but she kept them going. Jerry said Vari lazy. Damn. Damn. Oh, Vari's lady's son. Absolutely. Sabrina said Nazaria was friends with Vari's baby mama. Maybe they knew. It's a whole mess. It's a whole nasty mess. Kim, it was said that Annette's husband was a police officer, but we're not sure of that. Samantha said he done the same thing to Lady that Jarvis done to Zaya. She had help. I believe the church helped her. Let me get him my commentary. Let me get him my commentary. I'm gonna grab y'all questions, but let me get into my commentary. Absolutely, Chucky. They needed time to get rid of her. 2 damn months. Red said Nazaria could have gone to the damn moon and back. Absolutely. So let me move on, because this family could have us talking for days. But we're going to move carefully. And we're going to take our time. And we're going to walk through this like we always do. Because you know, Shannon is the centerpiece. Shannon was present. Shannon was informed. Shannon knew everything that was going on. And on top of that, she had children of her own under the same damn roof. Shannon knew what was happening in her house, and she knew what was happening in Annette's house. So I want to know, Shannon, when you know Nazaria was being harmed, why you set your big ass there and did nothing? Nothing. And you were so comfortable allowing this to happen to Nazaria. You didn't mind it trickling down to your own damn daughter. And Shannon, this is not about being somebody's sister, cousin, or baby mama, bitch. It's about supposedly being an adult in a house full of children. Shannon was never on the outside looking in. Shannon lived in that house. She had children in that house. Shannon allowed Jarvis to live in that house. Not visit, not stop by, but live there. Which means Shannon didn't just have proximity. Shannon had full control. She had authority in everything that took place while she lived in Clinton Township. Annette didn't live in Clinton Township. Shannon lived in Clinton Township. So Shannon knew everything that took place in that home. It started with Shannon, but Annette was aware. Multiple children, including Isaiah. They all disclosed that it was violated. Violated. And nobody protected these children. They were told to shut the hell up. They made that choice to do that to these children. See, when these nasty heifers knew that this was going on and said nothing, it didn't stop them from being violated. All it did was prepare those children to get comfortable to keep accepting it. And when Shannon allowed Jarvis to remain in that house, and when Annette allowed all those other PDFs to run through her house, knowing what they already knew, they were given permission. They were given permission. Let's walk it back, y'all. When Roxy cornered Shannon in that kitchen and asked Shannon, was Naziah dead or alive? And Shannon's response was, I don't know. I don't know. But ain't this what you wanted? What? That sentence alone didn't come from panic. And it didn't sound like she was expecting Naziah to come back. She sounded like she had a lot of resentment in her. Like something happened and it was unresolved and she couldn't get it all out. And that look on her face was inevitable. And that's why Mocha can't shake it. When you choose to protect grown men over a child, Shannon, you got a bunch of secrets. Annette got a bunch of secrets. Markita got a bunch of secrets. They normalized this shit. They gave access. They lived in silence. And they made these children feel like they had to swallow the trauma. Swallow the trauma to keep their nasty asses comfortable. Children always remember who told them to be quiet. Children are going to always remember who didn't believe them. And I know these children remember who made them feel like they were a problem. So when Naziah was labeled as a runaway, just magically disappears. In that moment, Shannon came out here calling Naziah fast. Everything she thought she could have said about Naziah in a negative way, she did. But after telling that family I was violated and they did nothing about it, what reason would Naziah have to believe speaking up about anything would save her? They failed these children. They failed them miserably. Miserably. Same goes for Markita. Markita lived in that house with her children as well. Same shit. You saw what Shannon saw. Dre saw what Shannon saw. Y'all allow these children to go through this trauma. Y'all normalize that shit. Y'all normalize it. And all you hoes allow, Annette, you allowed Naziah to be violated. Shannon, you allowed yours. And Markita, you allowed yours. Y'all told those children to be quiet. To be quiet. This house didn't just make one bad decision. This house was a system of horrible decisions that had been implemented years and years ago. When you're an adult living in a house with children and harm has already been disclosed, every adult you bring into that space is a choice. And that choice tells children everything they need to know about where they stand. And it's a shame. Too many adults took turns with these children. Y'all hoes prioritized laying up with the man, being comfortable, or just wanting a little convenience. Whatever the man want, y'all gave it to him. Y'all prioritized that shit over the emotional and physical safety of these damn children. Children don't forget that shit. What these children have done at this point, they've internalized it. And y'all wonder why the children didn't keep talking? That's why. Because after a while, sucking up that shit and being silent felt safer to them than being dismissed, being slapped up upside the head, being called stupid, being told to shut up. So they sucked it up. So when I look at this raggedy ass household, Annette, Shannon, Markita, a bunch of vultures. They lived in a world where their nasty ass needs came first. And the children just learned how to survive. This shit in Annette's house, it collapsed a long time ago because they made the choices for it to do so. Y'all risk it all. Y'all risk it all. And it don't just stop with them. Let's talk about the church. Because this story don't just stop at Annette's house. We've learned that these churches are not just buildings anymore. They're gatekeepers. They decide who has access, who is trusted, and who's allowed around children. And in this situation, that church didn't give a damn. This church was not on the outside looking in. This particular church was involved. Because before the spotlight ever turned towards Naziah's disappearance, children from Annette's household were deeply active in that church. Markita's children, Shannon's children, and Annette's foster children, and her grandchildren. Not just attending the church. They were participating in activities in that church. Some of that participation crossed lines that minors should have never been near. lines that were filmed, lines that were uploaded, lines that were made public. Ask me how I know, goddamn it, because I saw it. Because they allowed it. Now let's talk about the access through that church. Active in the church. Jarvis Butts was active over there. He was present. Jarvis was around children in that church, including going to a father-daughter dance, y'all. Why was Jarvis, a registered PDF, allowed anywhere near child-centered activity in a church? See, churches don't accidentally allow things like that. It takes approval. It takes permission. And it takes someone that decided behind the scenes that it was okay for him to be there. That wasn't normal. Then the spotlight hits and everything changes. Messiah disappears. Public attention grows. And suddenly the church distances itself from the family. No public embrace, no support. No bishop going all out of his way telling Annette, we're going to stand with you, Sister Annette. We're going to stand with you. He didn't do that. He dismissed her ass. He dismissed her. And for me, that church had a lot of questionable material on their website, in content involving minors, content that stayed up until more eyes started looking at it. Then the page gets clean. But one thing I know, you could clean that page all you want, bitch. You don't erase history, and it don't erase who allowed it in the first place. But y'all advocating for missing girls, and to me that was very, very suspect. Naziah, a member of your church, you got every picture of who you claim to be a missing girl on your church website. But Naziah, a member, was not listed. And y'all didn't list her for a reason. See, these churches today, they like to preach accountability until accountability knocks on their door. See, if this church really didn't know. Thank you, Terrific. Love you too, sis. Thank you, Drag Racing. If that church truly didn't know what the hell was going on, the response would have been transparency, cooperation, loud protection of children. But instead, we saw that church distance itself. And distance is what people choose when they don't want to be connected to what's coming next. That church made a decision. Churches don't get a pass because they sing louder or pray longer. If you allow this type of shit in a church and only move once the spotlight shows up, then y'all don't stop the people from asking why and why not. Because as far as I knew, faith should protect children first, not reputations. This church ain't shit. And I believe that church has something to do with Naziah disappearance. Let me grab some comments. Lady D said they have so many STDs. I wouldn't want him to take it off. Oh, you talking about the mask? Okay. Okay. Jerry said he haven't talked to Lady. Chucky said that yep, needed time to get rid of her. Shit. Marty said that takes it back in December 2023, don't it? If not November, Marty. Red said, well, didn't Vari's baby mama come up missing as well? She did, right? But if I could be totally honest with y'all about Vari's baby mama, I don't think Vari's baby mama coming up missing, I don't think it's connected to what's happening with Naziah in no shape or form. I do not believe Vari's baby mama coming up missing got anything to do with that. But I do know that church somebody needs to go knocking on the doors of that church. Somebody needs to go knocking on the doors of that church and ask some questions. Because how is it I'm a faithful member? Me, my children, and my grandchildren. We over there washing feet. Shannon children all in the pictures of the church. Jarvis at the father-daughter supposedly dance, but in Mocha's opinion, that was not a dance. That was an auction. Because standing there in the middle of all those little young girls with some old ass Arab men, Jarvis and the bishop. Those little girls were on the auction block allegedly. And you mean to tell me nobody thought to go knock on the doors of that church? What was really going on? And that bishop's wife ain't shit either. How could you, lady, as a mother, as a woman, so you just as dark as your husband? So what is it that that husband is really hiding? Because when you look him up, he has absolutely nothing. Not even the church in his name. But yet the city of Detroit is allowing this man to buy more property where he could put a halfway house to rehabilitate SA offenders, PDFs. And right next to the house around the corner in the same little complex, he's looking to put a daycare center. So that's like having a store full of steak. And next door to the store that's full of steak, that's like having a lion's den next door. Make it make sense. So I do believe if an investigation is done on that church, you're going to find Naziah. And you're going to find every other little missing girl out of Detroit that has been gone forever and nobody has answers. I believe that with all my heart. That church was the gateway. That church was the gateway. I do believe these children are somewhere. As much as I see people talk about they're gone, they're gone, they're gone. They're not with their families, but they're somewhere. Because you have to make it make sense. Who goes out of their way to plant clothes to make the world believe that this baby is gone? Who goes out of their way to alter an investigation? To throw all words, it's like throwing black pepper on a dog trail. Who does that? if they really want to get down to the bottom of it. And that's what this family has been doing. To my understanding, there's tunnels running underneath that church. Two ways. A tunnel that leads to the airport and a tunnel that heads towards Canada. And I was so deeply invested digging through that church bullshit. See, when something is supposed to fall in your lap, it falls in your lap. At the very moment that we were pulling up shit on this church, it came on the news that week that in Frank's country, the law passed. They passed the law where these girls could be married, have a husband at the age of 8. See how shit is lining up? But that family too busy fighting for all the wrong things to look into the shit that really matters. Because like I said, I will shake heaven and earth for mine. I'd rather be fucking wrong than to sit on my black ass and say I didn't give it a chance. So y'all not concerned about Naziah nor her disappearance. And if she ever pops up, she deserved every right to say fuck y'all. Because my gut still says she's somewhere. And I'm going to stand on that. Because Kim Worthy never came out here not one time to say different, to show different. We got our man. I have enough here to prove that she's no longer here. Well, what the fuck you got? What do you have? And that family is going along with that. With that. Chucky, that church don't get a pass. Oh, they said Jarvis is messing with the correctional officer. Well, I heard that in the beginning too. Absolutely, Samantha, that church is deeply involved. Carla Henry said, that's what makes me so mad. So many people knew and didn't do anything to save them children. But Carla, they did nothing but make it on the internet, making a lot of unnecessary noise like an old squeaky ass empty wagon. Now, if your wagon was full, you deserve to make noise. But you around here making all of this noise with an old empty ass squeaky wagon. No, That church needs to be put to the forefront. I swear it does. This man sat on his ass. He put on his Facebook page that he was the first black billionaire in Detroit. I said, huh? So now I'm confused because are you a bishop? Are you a doctor? Your experiment, something is wrong. One day he's in, I'm about to preach a message gear. Then there's a picture of him up there in a whole medical outfit, a whole medical suit. Like he going to deliver babies. Like he's and he got his little team of midwives around him. It's the shadiness, the secrets and the lies that's hidden behind the Holy Ghost. Jerry said lady was a hard worker, stronger than the average man, jack of all trades. Absolutely. Huh. Huh. Marty says allegedly Shannon bullied Naziah relentlessly. Jealousy, envy, green-eyed monster all over Jarvis Butts. Shannon, you need chaining under that jail for life. In my opinion, Shannon, you caused Naziah's disappearance. Nakisha, I see you telling Lady D that Jarvis' new baby didn't have it. What new baby, girl? He didn't have another baby that popped up? Absolutely, Levesque. Levesque said, Jerry, if Lady was so strong, she would have taken care of and fought throughout her struggles for her children. Absolutely. Lady don't get no damn passes. Lady failed those children. I'm not going to sit up here and excuse her addiction. Lady's not the first crackhead that ever walked the streets. There's no excuse for the life she chose. And we have to remember, Lady chose that life. She failed her own damn children. So I don't care who see it any other way. I could only see what I see and feel what I feel. As a woman and as a mother, Lady don't get a damn pass because she did it to her children. She was given an opportunity to get them back. She chose not to. And that was a choice. That was a choice. Drugs was a need. See, her children should have been a priority. But she did not make them a priority. $10 was her priority. Red said these children are going to be adults real soon and they're going to talk. Those children are traumatized for life. They're going to need help the rest of their lives. Wanda says, Mocha, like I said, baby saw what they was going to do after she got pregnant. So she left in October. November, they don't know where she's at, but when trials start, she's coming, and maybe more. Wanda, we'll see. Wanda, I believe you. I believe you. Love you, terrific. Sheena says Annette Nastass was feeding those Nastass church members her foster kids. Sheena, you better say that. You better say it. And then they kick her ass out after using her children. Red, you understand, Red? What church? What church in their right mind is going to have beds? Beds in a church. I see, I'm seeing that shit all over again. Lebec said Annette was so evil and low down, the church didn't want to deal with it anymore. The church was trying to cover it up. The church was trying to cover it up. Now, you take everything that we spoke on and let's make a full circle out of it, right? Let's make a full circle out of everything we just spoke on. Because once you look at Annette's house, you look at all them bad, deformed, shaped, bad looking adults. Then you look at the church and how quickly they distance themselves. Then you look at Jarvis refusing that plea deal. The fact that he refused that plea deal, it starts sounding very, very different now. A plea deal. Listen, a plea deal would have kept this shit small. Charlotte's Web, I see you, boo. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. A plea deal would have kept this very isolated. One man, one story, one ending. Y'all following me? Hope y'all are. Had Jarvis taken that plea deal, this shit would have been very, very contained. One man, one story, and one ending. But when Jarvis said no, he didn't just choose going to trial. Jarvis chose exposure. See, because trials don't just ask what one man did. They start asking, how was this allowed to happen and who kept it going? So now trial, we're taking it to trial. So they got to face the who's, the what's, the when's, the where's, and the why's. And when you start asking those type of questions, you don't just end up at Annette's house. You end up at the church. You end up with them in silence. And you end up with goddamn decisions that these hoes made to protect all the nasty ass men instead of the children. That plea deal, had he accepted, it would have buried all of that. And that's why the timing of the distancing from that church matters. That's why them hoes being quiet matters. And that's why everybody suddenly wants to be in the bushes. They don't want to be seen. Because when one person, now that Jarvis Butts is refusing to carry the weight alone, everybody who helped hold the door open gets nervous. So this ain't just about whether Jarvis talks. It's about the fact that he can. And sometimes that possibility is more dangerous than words could ever be. Jarvis knew why he didn't accept that plea deal. He knew why. And I do believe you got the Franks of the world. You got that church. You got Annette. You got Shannon Markita and all the other PDFs that ran through that house. Rather they be related or not. See, Shannon was so deeply in love with Jarvis, Shannon told all the family secrets. And Jarvis is going to tell them. This is sad. This is sick. Absolutely, Dr. J.D. Hey, boo. She said, Mocha, you spoke on them pictures. And that church pulled them the same night. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ooh, ooh. Drag racing. You know what? That makes a whole lot of sense too. Hmm. Drag racing said that's who the fuck Annette was talking to. Drag racing. That's making sense. Huh. Huh. Telling you, there's a connection. This shit is sick. Levesque said, where the hell is Vari? Is he still locked up? He just disappeared off the grid, locked up. Red said it was about a year or so when you had that live about that bishop. Absolutely, Red. Absolutely. They kicked Granny Monster out, and that was it, and that was all. And that family, look, once they kick Annette out of church, that family. Michael, welcome to the chat, baby. And thank you so very much. Hey, love your channel. Big pressure. Thank you, boo. Carla says a little amount of blood. That don't mean anything. Carla Henry, they plotted that. That was a lie. That was a lie. And they think the world is crazy. We ain't fucking crazy. Red said it got to be some higher ups involved because the cover up is real. Red, when I tell you, for as long as we've been following this, pay attention, Red. They got some big players involved. Because Red, why would Kim Worthy go out of her way to shape shift this shit? And when I say shape shift this shit, she shape shifted. Fake ass, bogus ass school reports. Bogus ass bus rides. Bogus ass person that they plotted and planted to walk in front of neighborhood ring cameras. Stories that don't match. They went out of their way. They went out of their way. A whole shapeshifter. Red said there's a lot of hardworking women who protect their children respectfully. She don't get a pass for being a heart. Absolutely. Absolutely she don't. Because this is sick. So what? Jarvis had a daughter that was born. So Jarvis got a child that was born on January 10th, 2024. Well, Nakisha, who is the mama? Who is the mama? That's what I want to know. So clearly that baby was born the day they reported Nazaria missing. Kitty said she didn't fight hard enough. And as a mother, that's beyond sad. She might as well be the abused. The abuser. She was. In many ways, she was. Because that was neglectful as hell. You know what you experienced in that house with Annette. Why would you put your children through the same? Why would you put your children through the same? Dorothy Ann said, Mocha, in my opinion, I think CPS, the cops, and other organizations are in on taking and unaliving these children. It's the whole system. That is why it's taken so long for justice. And look at how many other children are still missing, Dorothy Ann. This just don't happen without other people, bigger people being involved. Kitty says he know he's going to hell, so he's bringing them with him. Absolutely. Absolutely. As he should. As he should. So we're going to get out of here. But I want to end this the same way we started. We had to call out the choices that they made. Choices Shannon Markita, Annette made. Choices that church chose to make. And the choices that left all these children unprotected. And Jarvis Butts refused that plea deal. Jarvis Butts didn't just make a legal decision. What Jarvis Butts did, he disrupted a story that was supposed to stay quiet, that was supposed to stay hidden, that was supposed to stay within the family. See, because plea deals keeps things small and isolated. Going to trial opens up the Nile River. And once it's open, it won't stop at just one person. It exposes everybody. Tonight we spoke about behavior. We spoke about timing, the lack of response. Children don't disappear in healthy environments. Children don't disappear in healthy environments. And abuse doesn't always thrive where adults are supposed to be protected. It's a lot of people that these conversations make uncomfortable. I don't care. I don't care. Because if you're uncomfortable with the truth, you need to look at yourself and ask yourself, who am I? What am I not doing right? Because I don't believe we said anything in here wrong. Check yourself. You just might be in an Annette. And until Naziah is found, until answers are given, and until accountability replaces these silent holds, this conversation still ain't over. We here standing on purpose. And purpose means asking questions. Even when the room gets quiet. Even when the room gets quiet. Dr. JD said, Jarvis is the only one sleeping good. Everybody else shaking in their boots. Absolutely. Absolutely. Love you more, Dorothy Ann. Absolutely. That Jarvis Butts is sleeping damn good. Kitty says, if this conversation makes anyone uncomfortable, you might be a demon of some sort. Some people really need to crack open that Bible. Kitty, you better talk that talk, my girl. Absolutely terrific. It starts with the person in the mirror. Absolutely. Lebec said Jarvis is going to have to start talking. If he don't want to do the time for redrum of Nazaya, he's going down. Oh, he's going to talk. He's going to definitely talk. And I have faith in the justice system. I have faith that Nazaya is going to speak and then everyone want to hear what she got to say. But guys, I love you all. I appreciate each and every one of you that pulled up tonight, supported the channel. Thank you all so very much. New members, welcome, welcome, welcome. Until next time, y'all stay loud for these children and stay woke, because standing on purpose means more than just standing. Loving each and every one of you. God bless. Good night. And don't forget to keep your notifications set. Because who knows, with this weather the way it is, we may pop out again tomorrow. God bless you all.
She ain't gone, no, she just hiding behind the lies. They keep on writing. I feel her voice, I hear her crying, but they too busy testifying, saying nothing while she dying inside. She ain't gone, she just fighting to survive. She said she needed help in class that day. Laid out on the floor, tears in the way. Told the teacher she need a word, not a test, but they passed her off like the pain was just stress. Mama acting like she ain't see a thing, but checking her tablet, deleting the strings. The truth in a locker, the truth in a phone. They try to act like she ran off alone.
Portrayal lies, got them swearing to God, but the ones in the pews know the story too odd. Why you wanna stand talking? I don't recall. You was posting like everything's fine, that's all. She had bruises and bags, she had silence and shade. They let that man stay while she tried to escape. A house full of whispers, a shop full of ghosts, but we saw them cameras and we the most.
She ain't gone, no, she just hiding behind the lies. They keep on writing. I feel her voice, I hear her crying, but they too busy testifying, saying nothing while she dying inside. She ain't gone, she just fighting to survive. I believe she's somewhere breathing slow. Not a grave, just a place we don't yet know. Maybe protective, maybe hid away, but not erased, not gone astray. The court got a date, but the streets got a voice, and we gon' speak loud like we ain't got a choice. This ain't just views, it's a whole damn name. Say Nazi aloud till they feel that flame.
Thank you everyone for pulling up, showing love. And thank you ladies for the Cash App. God bless you all. Make sure you have those notifications set. It's a possibility. I'm pulling up tomorrow. You guys stay warm, stay safe, because we're in for some weather. Love you all. Good night.